People are tired. They're exhausted. A lot of people are feeling unwell. They feel off. They feel anxious. They feel inflamed. They feel disconnected. And when that happens, we usually handle it piece by piece. If you're anxious, we'll tell you to go see a mental health specialist. If your gut is off, we might refer you to have some extra scans and then see a gut specialist. If you're burnt out, we will give you some time off work to get some rest, go on holiday. And each symptom gets its own label, its own appointment slot, its own tick box. But very rarely do we step back and ask, what if these aren't separate problems? What if anxiety, inflammation, burnout, brain fog, numbness are not random glitches, but different expressions of the same underlying pressure? Because health doesn't happen in isolation. Never has, really. Throughout history, health has always been about the bigger picture. And at the moment, in the modern world that we live in, this chaos that we're living in, we're living through constant stimulation, instability, and uncertainty. And I would actually argue that our bodies are responding exactly as you would expect them to. That overall pattern is what I like to call toxic physiology. Hi, I'm Dr. Misrui. I've been a doctor for nearly 10 years, and on paper that means that I'm trained to do three things. I'm trained to listen to symptoms, match them to a diagnosis, and then offer a suitable management plan. And for a while, I was happy doing that. That was enough for me. Until I kept meeting the same types of cases over and over again. Patients would come in to my clinic and they'll sit in front of me and say, "Doctor, I'm exhausted all the time. I can't seem to switch off. My life looks fine, but my body feels off. I keep doing things that I know are bad for me, but I can't seem to stop. I keep eating my feelings away." And we'll do some blood tests, we'll do some scans, we'll do some ECGs, and everything was fine. Yet you can tell that something was clearly wrong. What was it? Well, it was their nervous system. It was screaming. Something is off. Now, after a few years of seeing the same patterns, you have two choices as a physician. You either option A, tell the patient that this is all in their head, or option B, you admit that the way we talk about health is missing something huge. Now, I'm going to give you guys a story. A few years ago, don't ask me when, I don't know, some genius decided, wouldn't it be a fantastic idea if we take all of these animals from their natural habitats, from their God-given habitats, we're going to take them all and we're going to ship them to the West and we are going to build these enclosures. And don't worry, no, we will feed them, we'll make sure they're okay, we'll give them food, we'll give them shelter, we'll protect them from any predators, we'll give them vaccinations and medication and premium vet care, okay? So they'll be fine, right? Because if they're fed and they're safe, they will be fine. And we ticked all the boxes. We wrote what we needed to write. We started our experiments as we do. We made sure the food was there. Check. Shelter's there. Check. No predators. Check. Basic vet care. Check. And on paper, it looked almost compassionate. I mean, now they don't have to fend for themselves. I mean, who wouldn't want that life? You know, you just exist. You get everything you're given. However, something interesting happened. The people who worked in those spaces noticed something very, very strange that didn't quite fit the memo that they were given. Okay? They weren't expecting this. They thought, hang on a second, we've basically taken these animals and we've said to them, you don't need to do anything. We will look after your every single need. All you need to do is stay in this cage and entertain all of these people who are going to come and pay a load of money to look at you. Okay? That's all you need to do. It's easy. There's nothing hard about that. You're literally paid for existing. It's a great job, right? Anyway, what did they see? Well, they saw something very, very interesting. They would see a tiger walking the same exact track along the fence over and over again. Same path. Then the tiger will turn around and then walk the same path again. And then it will turn around and walk the same path. And it will walk in the same rhythm over and over again for hours. Okay? Thought, gosh, don't know what's going on here. Let's move on. When they went to check, what is the elephant doing today? Oh, elephant is standing in one spot and they're rocking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh God, I'm getting a headache. My God. They noticed primates who were chewing their own arms and birds pulling out their own feathers. It's madness. Honestly, absolute chaos. Now, remember, these guys were compassionate. They were very thoughtful. They made sure the animals were not starving. They were medicated. Had the best healthcare. Better healthcare than somewhat what you lot get. They were safe. Nothing was attacking them. Yet somehow, something inside them was breaking. Interesting. Sounds strange, huh? Why would something break? I mean, okay, yeah, you took them from their natural habitat. You put them in a world that they shouldn't be living in. But come on. The extreme, right? Anyway, at first, people blame the animals. Of course, we humans will blame the animals. Oh, they have a bad temperament. Oh, they're a difficult species. Maybe that's just what they do. But they just couldn't get that pattern to stop. Even in different zoos, in different countries, different species, same behaviours over and over again. Because you see, there was something about being taken out of your natural habitat that caused animals to feel like they didn't really have a choice. They didn't have a way to act in the way they were actually designed for. So what do they do instead? They started pacing, rocking, bar biting, and even to the extremes of self-injury. Movements that didn't really benefit them. We didn't get them anything. Why were they doing that? Isn't that weird? I mean, the body was there, was nourished, but their behaviour? Odd. Anyway, eventually, one word stuck to describe this. Zoochosis. Zoo plus psychosis. Zoochosis. It's not a neat diagnosis, but it is a way of naming what happens when you basically take a healthy animal who was minding their own business, and then put them in the wrong type of cage for too long. That's what zoochosis is. I mean, their muscles were still working, their organs were absolutely fine, their nerves were firing, but the operating system is what's trapped. What do I mean by that? Well, the animal's natural instincts that would say roam, systems that would tell the animal flee or fight, social wirings that says you live in a herd or a pride or a flock, but nowhere to go. So what does it do? Turns inwards. Those weird behaviours are not random. They're the last available moves. It's the last thing the animal can do. The only choice it gets is to do that because it can't escape and it can't change its situation. So what does it do? It does these strange movements. Now, I want you to take a moment and think about what I've just said. I want you to hold that image. The idea that you could have a body that's technically fine, a life that looks safe on paper, home tick, car tick, food tick, but a nervous system that is clearly not okay. Once you see it in animals, it becomes very hard not to see the human version. We pace too, just looks slightly different. I mean, what would you call someone walking to the fridge back and forth, back and forth, back and forth? Or someone switching between the three apps, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Or somebody refreshing their WhatsApp or their inboxes. What are they looking for? They're not satisfied, they're waiting for something. We also rock too, we do. I mean, aren't most of you guys staying in relationships that aren't very good for us, but we don't want to leave because it feels worse to leave, no? Isn't that rocking back and forth? Breaking up, getting back together. Breaking up, getting back together. Or clinging to routines that numb us. Our bodies are frozen and our minds are the ones that are racing. Is that not an example? And we self-harm too, we do. Now, sometimes obviously, but sometimes in a very respectable way. I mean, what do you call overworking until something breaks, till you burn out? Or starving and punishing your body? And we call that discipline. Interesting, isn't it? We keep saying yes when every cell in our body is screaming no. Stop. Stop it, you. Stop saying yes. And it's only when the body starts shouting through illness do we sit back and think, I wonder what caused this. Because from the outside, From the outside, it's easy to call this lack of willpower, phone addiction, messy mental health, and toxic traits, those keywords. Easy to call it that. But from the inside, it looks so much closer to that tiger and the elephant, right? Do you think so? A system using the few moves it has left to survive a setup it did not choose. What do I mean by that? You see, we keep treating the behavior as the problem and the life that we're living in, the life surrounding us, as something that's natural, that's normal, that's neutral. But what if it's the other way around? What if the abnormality is the life surrounding us and your behavior is actually the only normal thing? Your body is reacting normally to an abnormal environment. What do you think about that? Isn't that interesting? Now, I don't know about you guys. I keep seeing the same questions online. Why does the world feel weird? Why does it feel like we're living at the Truman Show? Why does time feel like it's moving so fast? I want to ask you questions in return. When information cycles accelerate, when algorithms distort perception, when news feels unreal but constantly negative, when trust in institutions weakens, when the future feels unstable, what are you expecting your nervous system to do? Because your nervous system does not file all of that nonsense, all of that mess under abstract sociology. No. It files it under unpredictability. And guess what? Unpredictability is seen as a threat signal. And if you have chronic unpredictability, things start changing in your body. Things like your cortisol rhythm, sleep cycle, attention span, emotional regulation. So when you keep saying something feels off, or when you hear people saying that, they're not being dramatic. They're actually describing physiology. Now, I want to introduce you guys to a concept, okay? A concept known as fitra. Now, in Islam, we use the term fitra to describe the innate human blueprint. It's a lot more complex than that, but I will simplify it for you all. Okay, so let's think of fitra in this case as your innate human blueprint. What do I mean by that? So I want you to imagine a computer. Okay, you buy a new computer and let's equate that to the body. So with your computer, you have your monitor, you've got your keyboard, you've got your mouse, and that's your hardware. And equally, us with the body, we have our muscles, our nerves, our organs, our bones, and so on. So that's our hardware. Where we cannot see, the computer has an operating system. For us, our operating system, let's call it our fitra, our natural operating system. The computer also has a natural operating system. Now, each operating system expects certain conditions to function well. And if we keep the things that it needs to function well, we actually maintain that, our computer will work absolutely fine. So, for example, if we make sure that we switch off our computers at night time so it has rests, we make sure that we don't keep putting softwares that it can't deal with, we make sure that we are fighting any malware that's going to try and infect our computer. So we look after our computer really, really well. The likelihood is the computer is probably going to function at maximum operating functionality for a very long time. Okay. However, if we decided, you know what, I'm not going to care about this computer, I'm going to keep spilling water near it, I'm never going to switch it off, I'm always going to have it on 24/7, I'm going to keep putting loads of new random softwares that it's not designed to use, what would happen to that computer? Tell me. It will function, but it will definitely slow down. Yeah. It will probably catch loads of viruses, wouldn't it? Yeah. It wouldn't be operating very fast, will it? And eventually it'll probably break down. And that's the same with us. If we have a situation where we are in rhythm and we're not dealing with endless grind, we have connection, not chronic isolation, honesty, not sustained deception, meaning not pure performance, guess what? When life aligns with that design, we thrive. Our nervous system thrives. Our nervous system is settled. We are regulated. However, when the way that we live our life repeatedly violates that design through fear, shame, instability, chronic pressure, or emotional deprivation, the operating system does not quietly comply. Now, we might keep going for a while, but eventually we'll break down. Eventually we'll burn out, and it starts speaking in symptoms. We start having insomnia, anxiety, numbness, brain fog, digestive issues, chronic tension. You see where I'm going with this? And this isn't because your body hates you or your body's weak or whatever. No, your body is telling you the truth about the environment that it is in. Telling you this environment is not compatible with the operating system. Now, that whole pattern, the body adapting to a misaligned environment, is what I call toxic physiology. Okay, yes, I made the term up. I made it up, but there's no term to describe it. So why not? Okay, and I would absolutely love it if for you to make it so viral, right, that it ends up in the Oxford Dictionary, because you know what, why not? Okay, you have to dream big. But the pattern itself is real. Toxic physiology is what happens when a human body is forced to live outside its innate design. So your body adapts, your bloods might still be normal, but it's not functioning the way it's meant to function. And it can take it when it's once in a while, but for too long, no. And toxic physiology is not a diagnosis, it's not. It's the overall shift you see when your stress chemistry stays elevated, when sleep stops being restoring. Sleep is an update to your body. Hormones drift off rhythm, your digestion falters. The nervous system never fully stands down. And in animal, we may be using the term zoochosis to talk about behavior in the wrong enclosure. In humans, I guess we can use toxic physiology to talk about what is happening to humans in the body when the enclosure is wrong. From far away, it can look like personal failure. Everyone else can cope. Why can't you? But up close, it's adaptation. Your body has adapted, and that might be why your blood tests are normal, but your body is still showing symptoms. Now, I'm not here to optimize your to-do list. No. I'm not here to do that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. I can barely optimize my own. Okay, I'm not here to shame you. Okay, I'm here for me and for you. What I'm interested in is how power, culture, work, religion, and relationships get under your skin, literally, and shape your hormones, your sleep, your appetite, your capacity to feel safe or say no. On this show, we won't just ask what's wrong with you. No. We want to talk about what has shaped you. What has your body been through? What have you had to survive? Who built this enclosure that we're in at the moment? What is the reason for it? What is your physiology trying to tell you right now? That's what we're going to be talking about. Now, people keep saying, especially on my TikTok, that's where I started my social media journey. If anyone wants to follow me, it's at toxic.physiology. I'll put the links down below. But anyway, everyone keeps saying how they don't have a village, okay? Women especially are saying, there's no village. And you know what? They're right. And the sad thing is human beings were designed to be in villages, okay? It's just how we're designed. It's what we need to function. So my thought process is this. Why not build one here? We'll build a digital village right over here, where the people who care about, healthier living, healthier relationships, healthier society, healthier systems, people who care about what's happening in the world today, how it's affecting us, how it's affecting our children, where we talk about topics that maybe other doctors don't want to talk about. I'm happy to talk about it. My job is to bring you the science and the facts and help you read what your body is trying to say to you. Your job, well, I think you need to start doing some village things. I'm just saying, okay? If you want to do village things, if you want me to talk about certain things, it'd be nice to leave a comment. Show some appreciation, Subscribe to my channel, like, share, that's how community forms, you know what I mean? I got you, you got me, it's a two-way relationship, this is. Anyway, I want you to remember one thing. Your body is not the enemy. Your body is an amana. What does that mean? It means you have been entrusted with it by God. What an honor, right? And you are not broken. Your body's just adapting. And once you understand what it is you're adapting to, you can stop living in survival mode and start choosing alignment instead. This is Toxic Physiology, all right, where we explain the body beneath the chaos. I'll see you for the next episode.